Vortex, you gotta be willing to die for what you believe in. Otherwise, you really don't believe in it. Like I just said, people are dying for things that they don't really believe in because they don't even understand. They're just not conscious. I'm a very conscious person, I've always been. That's why I always knew that this country was lying to us about every motherfucking thing. I knew that in 1991. 1991 was the same year that the internet came out. About a month before the Cold War supposedly ended, okay? Now 10 years after that, what happened? The Twin Towers were taken out. And 3,000 people burned alive, or they jumped to their death. Okay? That's pretty fucked up, man. That's really, 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 really fucked up. And I remember that feeling that day. That everything was gonna change. Like the whole purpose of that was to change things. And people just don't look at things right. You know, they look at everything like it's an isolated event, and it's never an isolated event. Unfortunately, most of the people that live in this country are pretty fucking stupid. And I don't say that gleefully. I don't say that so that I can feel superior to them, okay? A lot of people love their superiority complex. Doesn't really do shit for me. Mainly because, well, I know I'm not superior, I'm just different. And what makes me different makes me wise. And what makes me wise makes me not fit in. It makes me not want to go along with the things that I know are wrong. And technology, the point of technology is to turn the world on its head. And I'm sure you've noticed that people act just like robots now. So, if you're a YouTuber, you probably can't help but notice that you have comments from people. These comments are way too smart to be coming from actual people. I mean, look, the AI. They say, oh, the AI is going to take us out. I mean, it already has. Like, it's not about the AI itself. I'm going to keep talking about this. I feel like there was a reason why I was an alcoholic and drug addict, okay? And it's so I can explain what drugs actually are, okay? Because I don't think that people know what drugs are. Not here. People are not educated about anything. If they're not educated, they're not conscious of what they're doing, they're naturally not going to do anything positive with that. So when I started smoking marijuana when I was in high school, well, back then it was a completely different plan. But I felt like it was teaching me things. It was teaching me about myself, and it was teaching me about trauma, and it was teaching me about, you know, things in the world that I couldn't change. So, you know, basically like the serenity prayer, I'm not suggesting this, okay? But I really understood the serenity prayer when I smoked weed. So, I I think a lot of people have always used that plant spiritually to cope with the world that they live in. The reason why I stopped using it is because it wasn't doing that for me anymore. And there's no amount of cope dealing with this place. But I feel like I've learned all I can learn from it. And maybe I'm lying to myself, I don't know, but I just don't want to fuck with it anymore. Mainly because of what's going on. I want to be clear-headed. But I do miss it. I miss it all the time. I'm not tempted by it, but I do miss it. You can miss something. I mean, I miss it like it's an old friend that I don't see anymore. I smell that old friend all the time, though. It doesn't smell as good as it used to. Anyway, the reason I brought that up was to illustrate the fact that, like, there's a lot that I learned from that experience. And I think that drugs can teach you if you're willing to learn. I mean, the smartphone is most definitely a drug, and I don't even have one, and just watching everybody else self-destruct with it, you know, it's a lot like, you know, people that say that they'll never drink because they saw their dad die of alcoholism, or they'll never shoot up heroin because their brother overdosed or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's very similar to that. Like, I'm watching everybody in society self-destruct, and they just keep making excuses for it. And everything in our society is completely revamped now because of this shit technology that everybody keeps rationalizing because they want to fit in with all the other suicidal people. So yeah, anyway, drugs. Drugs. Just imagine shooting up heroin not knowing that it's heroin. I mean, a lot of people will say that, oh, I had no idea like how addictive this was going to be. But it's like, do people just not have self-awareness? I guess they don't. They can't see themselves slipping into something. The whole time that I was drinking alcoholically and smoking bags and bags of weed, I knew what I was doing. I just felt like I needed to self-destruct, you know? That was a necessary period for me, okay? And maybe it is for people, but I don't know if they'll ever snap out of it, though. Especially when society's encouraging it. All these things you can do on that phone that are practical, you know? So having a smartphone is more of an issue of practicality than it is anything else. Like, well, I mean, people can use that as an excuse, or that's not an excuse, that's a reason. I say that all the time. Like, people have a smartphone, they literally have a reason to have one now. It's not just like they need it for the dopamine. But I would say that most of them, that's what they're using it for. You just got to be conscious of that, baby. You got to be conscious of that. And then you got to feel guilty and ashamed. But analyze this attachment. If you analyze the attachment, you have to come to terms with why you have that attachment in the first place, you know? Holy shit! I need a new memory card. I only have 2 minutes left. I've been talking a lot, apparently. Talking a lot, singing a lot, playing a lot of music. But yeah. Analyze.